So hello, welcome to our presentation. We are Team 14, Team DataCure, and let us introduce you our project MedSites. So for our project, we wanted to do something really impactful, and that's why we choose healthcare, and we decided to help this hospital in Prachatice. And we help them with planning allocations of employees, with planning the materials, and also with tackling with slow and manual tasks. And now we provided them much better conditions to provide the best care for the patients. So let's see how we did it and deep dive to the first problem Jane had. Jane is head of cardiology department in this hospital, and one of her tasks is to know the capacity and the occupancy of her department every morning. So she knows how many patients she can admit, how many she needs to discharge, and how many she needs to move to different department. What she used to do is that she had to do to the database, then write a couple of queries, and then copy the results and send it through email to all the employees that needed to know the current occupancy in her department. This whole process took her 40 minutes every morning, but she could use this time really differently. She could provide much better care for the patients if she had this time, or plan the strategic decisions for the hospital. And she's not the only one doing this. There are 7 departments in the hospital, and each of them has its head doing this every day, every morning. So when we saw this, we knew we have to do something with that. With our solution, the only thing she needs to do is to click on Power BI, and she sees all the information she needs. She has the information about the occupancy in the whole hospital, in her departments, and also in wards that are in those departments. With that, she now knows how many patients are currently in the hospital in each department. But she thinks she would maybe like to know what's going to be tomorrow, in 1 week or 2 weeks. With this information, she could really use that for planning the materials, as pills, medications, or even allocating the employees to the department where it's needed. So to help her with that, we decided to add a predictive model to our report. With this, she can see what's going to be the occupancy in the next 14 days, again, in each department and each ward. So now she can plan the materials, plan the medications, plan the pills to order, but she still doesn't know what to do with the employees because she knows the capacity and the occupancy, but she doesn't know how much of the workload is needed in each department. So for this problem, she decided to call John and said, "Hey, John, I need your help. I need to tell me how many workload is needed in each department. Can you please help me?"
Hi, I would really like to help you, but right now I have no data to make clear data decisions. I'm allocating people based on my gut feelings.
Oh, John, that's too bad. We need to do something with this, don't you think? So, John, hey, we have a solution for you. Here is Power BI, and the only thing you need to do is click on that, and you see all the information you need. Here you have the workload in each department, each ward, and you also see the efficiency of every single employee in this hospital. And that's great. Now you can make the database decisions, not just with your gut feeling or whatever you said. So that's great. And let's summarize all the impacts and all the benefits our solution is bringing. So firstly, with the automated reporting of the occupancy in the bed, the heads of the departments save time for the patients and for the strategic planning. In total, they saved 160 working days every year. We also decided to do the data-based allocation for the employees, and that's secure that every patient in the hospital has the care they need. And finally, with the predictive model, we secured that the hospital always have the materials they need, the pills and the medications. With this above, we improve the healthcare in this hospital. But what's the potential for the future? So far, we have only focused on this one hospital and their database. But there are another 60 hospitals in the Czech Republic using exactly the same database, so we can implement our tool also here. And there are another hospitals that are using different database, but the database is just a little bit different than the one that we are used to. So we can also adjust the tool for those hospitals. With this, we are sure that we can change and improve the healthcare in the Czech Republic. Thank you.
So thanks for the presentation. I guess you are association of the directors of Czech hospitals. To make it easy for you, of course.
So, like Power BI is the last step for the visualization, but is it like the state of art that the hospitals are ready for the visualization? Are they data that good that it's ready?
They have the data in the database. It was very complex to map the database, to understand the data, because there's like thousands of the tables, thousands of the columns. But during the time we were doing this project, we were able to understand it. And after we connected to the Power BI, and now it works. In the hospital, it actually works now with the Power BI.
And what is the cost?
Yeah, the only cost we actually have is the automatically sending the emails every morning, because the Power BI reports can be free to download it and to see the visuals there. But the one person needs to have the pro license to be able to send it with Power Automate to all the employees every morning, and that costs $14 per month for one person.
Have you considered other platforms than Power BI?
Yeah, we had, but our budget was very limited, and the hospital wanted to keep everything like on their side. They didn't move. They don't want to move into cloud yet. So we have considered other options, for example, ClickSense or other reporting tools, but we went with Power BI because it was basically free for us to implement and use it. So yeah, that's the reason why we are using Power BI. Yeah, limited budget.
Yeah, but the license is paid and it's in the cloud.
Yeah, we are aware of that, but if you want to use it like on your desktop, then it's free. So we are using the free desktop version right now, and in the future we would like to move it into cloud, but it's something that we have to work with the hospital to basically have data that are anonymized, so there aren't like things that shouldn't be in the cloud, like about informations about patients, etc. Yeah.
Maybe I would just add that there's only one paid license needed for the whole hospital, because only from one computer it will be sent to the whole employees. So.
Thank you. Did you analyze or did you get the feedback from the nurse using the report? Because we know that usually nurses are not really data focusing people.
Yeah.
So it was okay with working with this dashboard?
It was, sorry, what? It was okay with?
If for her it was okay to working with this dashboard, or if there were some errors?
With the final Power BI.
Yeah, because the nurse has to read the dashboard, and usually they are not really data-focused people.
Like, we validated the whole workload through the project. So after we did like the every step I was talking about, we also in reality did step by step. That the first we mapped the occupancy of the beds, and then we validated with the hospitals, and they said that it's better than they expected, because they also saw it like visualized, and it was easy to orient in that for them. So yeah, they were very happy about everything we delivered.
Maybe one more thing. Basically, we were collecting feedback over time, and there were like Wireframe and 2 previous versions. So based on the feedback, we basically created this version that you have seen. Yeah, basically.
So I had kind of a similar question, and that is if you thought about some maybe adoption plan, or just like, getting the employees together and actually explaining to them how to work with it, how to read it, because as my colleague pointed out, it's probably not their specialty. So you can have an amazing dashboard, but they wouldn't use it. So how would you do that?
I think one of the advantages for us would be that not everybody in the hospital needs to understand it and use it. So there were basically just the 7 employees who did it in past. So that would be like, we already did this with 1 employee like that. We would do that in other 6, and just 1 hour workshop where they would get understand it, because the first one was fine with that, understood everything. So yeah, I think it wouldn't take that long.
Cool, great answer, thank you. And then just what caught my curiosity is you mentioned a head of cardio who actually writes queries daily.
Yeah,
Is that like usual from your research?
I'm not very sure about how this is normal, but in this particular hospital where we work with, it was really like the head of the department always did this every morning. And they also had like some IT people who were writing the queries, but they had to like take it, download it, and then adjust it. And I saw the queries they were writing, and they always wrote the 1 query per 1 word. And the words are like the sections in the department. So like every department has like 20 words, and they had to like change the names and numbers for each of the words in the single department. So it wasn't like technically difficult, but it was very time consuming and manual work.
Okay. By the way, great practical project. I want to ask maybe if where you see the future plans, not the expanding only to hospitals, but to other areas as well. Are there any kind of plans or
like
possible plans?
Yeah, I mean, this could be implemented to many areas. So far, we have focused only for the hospital, just to be easier to understand it. And it will be definitely easier to implement it to another hospital using the same database. But like this solution with planning and stuff can be also used for like governmental needs. So potentially in the future, we can also focus on that.
And time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.